So welcome guys. So in this video, we are having a discussion with three of my students who have cleared their TCS TPS mains and are ready to face the interview as such. So I have brought them here to discuss on how they prepared for this exam, how was the exam as such, what was the feeling for the exam, how did they write the mains, how did they write the prelims, and what was their overall experience as such. ठीक है, उनसे हम सुनते हैं पूरा चीज. तो रिजल्ट इज आउट एंड टोटल 130 students got selected. Congratulations to all of them. Or you guys have to be ready by 12th of August. Today is 24th of June. जुलाई महीना है and 12th of August, तो फिर overall about 1 month and 17-18 days. That's what is remaining. The main point that I want to show you guys here is the overall selection process. कि the prelims exam 200 mark का, then mains exam 800 marks का, then 100 marks is your personality test here. तो अभी प्रीलिम्स का 200 मार्क्स जो भी मिला है दैट इज नॉट काउंटेड फॉर योर फाइनल एग्जाम, फाइनल रैंकिंग एज सच. 800 में जितना मिला वो मिला एंड दिस इज योर पर्सनैलिटी टेस्ट. तो 100 मार्क्स विच इज अ बिग नंबर, 100 marks goes for your preliminary test. It will decide your fate whether you are through or not. TCS बनोगे या TPS बनोगे, or whether your name will be there in the final list or not. तो ये है चीज, ये गेम, ये 100 मार्क का ही अभी गेम है. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, ड्यू टू प्राइवेसी रीजन एज सच, आई एम नॉट डिस्क्लोजिंग एनीवन्स आइडेंटिटी हियर. जस्ट यहाँ पे नंबर 1, नंबर 2, नंबर 3 इज मेंशन्ड. 3 of the students could join in at short notice. Thank you everyone for joining this session. तो मेरा पहला क्वेश्चन would be something like कि what was your experience giving the prelims or mains exam as such? Mains exam देने का how was the experience? If I start with number 1 as such, can you share your experience? First of all, congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having this session.
Thank you, sir.
तो फिर number 1 बताओ.
Yes, sir.
How was
Sir, I
experience?
cleared prelims with quite ease because I am preparing for UPSC already.
अच्छा, how much did you get in prelims?
Sir, I tallied with the answer key and my score was around 130.
About 130. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good.
So, sir, after that, I had to read apart from UPSC, which I have been reading for a while, all the syllabus, the comprehensive syllabus of UPSC. I also had to focus on the state GK, Tripura state GK. Which, since sir, I am already familiar, I had to gather all the resources from the government sites. And sir, also it was quite tedious at first, but once I had consolidated my resources from all the sources, like one of them is government sites and the local books which are available. And after that, I revised them again and again till the time prelims came, and I also gave a lot of mock test.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, as I cleared prelims, I was looking for guidance, and mains was right there in front of me, and the dates were given like very close to the date of announcement of prelims result. So, sir, then you guided me through the process by helping me consolidated the mains notes, as prelims is a different game and mains is a different game.
Exactly.
Prelims is not very comprehensive, mains is very comprehensive.
Yes.
It takes you from a ride from English to like English grammar to alternate in English, and then there is history, geography, polity, and then again economics. So it was a lot to cover in a very short period of time. So I was prepared for prelims. I had my facts ready, but I had to learn how to write them down in answer forms. For that, sir, you provided us with so many good and efficient material, and you guided us how to write the answers. You gave us lectures ki how do we approach the questions, that how do we start the questions, how do we write the body, and how do we write the conclusions. And so that really took me a long way, as I was very. Sir.
Did it help? Matlab, did you write any answer writing? Did you appear in any mains exam before this?
No, sir, it was my first pre and first mains.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir. First pre of anyway, I did not even write UPSC at that point.
That's
It was my
awesome.
first pre and first mains.
Uh-huh.
And since then, sir, when you provided me with the mock tests and the
Mhm.
material, I tried to write them on my own. And I struggled very much through the process. And then you guided me through the process by rectifying my mistakes and telling me how can I make my answers better. And sir, one of the biggest factor was that this time mains was a bit different than previous times.
Yes,
So
exactly.
we had to write constantly and back to back with a short gap. So, sir, that really helped because you took our mock sessions, like mock tests, and you emulated the same conditions which were there in exam with relation to time. So, with that in mind, I was already set what I have to do in exam. I was already prepared for what was there.
Your
I don't know
mind
if
was
others.
already in
Yes,
that
sir.
place ki, if this kind of situation will happen, then your mind knows ki how to handle that thing.
Yes, sir. I knew there was going to be stress, but I had to handle that stress and put everything I knew in a very eloquent manner on that paper in front of me.
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
that I managed to write somehow. I think I did pretty well. The first paper was okay, sir. I'll
Ah,
yes,
ठीक
sir.
ठीक है. Number two, तुम्हारा how was your experience in leave prelims? How was your experience in mains? And did you write any mains exam before this?
Good evening, sir.
Good
Thank you
evening.
for providing me the platform to speak regarding my experience. So, the mains experience was quite good. It was very thrilling and it was quite hard. I have to
Let me
be.
let me cut you for once. How much did you get in prelims?
So I scored around 130 to 132 marks as per the
No,
final answer key.
अच्छा, अच्छा. Okay, okay. Please continue on that.
So, mains. This was my second mains. Previously, I had written mains of Bihar PCS,
Okay.
67th of BPSC. Then I appeared for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, So, sir, my experience was quite thrilling as I was preparing for this exam, and suddenly there was a news that the pattern is going to change. Earlier, there has been gap between the exams, but at the last moment, it was changed, and the exams were held continuously, which put all the students in a lot of strain because we have to write continuously for 6 hours a day. And then in the evening time, we have to go through whatever we have studied.
Hmm.
So it was very challenging and we have to manage a lot of time.
Hmm.
But since you were always with us and earlier you had guided us in answer writing program and then in test series, so that thing helped me a lot. Now I'll explain sir why. Because in answer writing, you have told us a lot of points regarding how we should start writing the answer, what are the types of writing answer, and you gave us quite good questions. And many of those questions also came in the exam. Like I
Yes, sir.
remember that Toba takes in,
तो
uh, and there was a question that came as it is in the exam that you have given. All other things also came repeatedly.
something with Medina, something क्या था एक?
There was a name of a goddess, some
हाँ,
goddess name, and its
yes.
explanation. You gave that exam question the test, and I was not able to write that question. And
हाँ,
because I was not able to write in the test, I was able to write it in the final exam.
हाँ, चाहिए.
Thank you, sir. Secondly, there were all other questions also, but right I am not able to guess those ones because it has been around 8 9 months. Uh, Secondly, sir, the test series. it helped me very much because those 3 days writing continuously helped me to prepare my strategy for
Hmm.
the main exam. Because when I was writing the exam,
Hmm.
since the mock were very uh, long and it put a lot of stress on us. So I was able to prepare how I have to write because writing continuously for 6 hours a day puts a lot of
Very
strain on
difficult.
your hand, and
Yes.
hand usually gets swollen. There's continuous pain in that. So while writing the mock, I realized that while I am writing the mock, I am putting the pen, pressing the press too hard against a copy.
Hmm.
Then there I made a strategy that no, in the final exam, I have to hold the pen very gently and not push it too hard. And this greatly helped me
Hmm.
because it my hand was paining less compared to when I was writing the mock,
Hmm.
and I was able to finish all the papers, leaving none.
Hmm. Good. You never, matlab, for everyone, there's a some or the other kind of strategy that will work, and you will honestly know what kind of strategy will work once you start giving such kind of mock exam as such.
Yes, sir. Mock exam is very important, sir. I personally feel that, sir, because answer writing is something that you cannot learn if you are not writing.
Hmm.
You have to write it in order to learn. Even
Hmm.
if you will write it without learning, you will make some mistakes that other people won't make it.
Yes, exactly. Chalo.
Plus, sir, yes, sir. Plus,
Let
sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Okay, sir.
three. So number three, how was your experience as such in, and what was your prelims marks?
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So how, what?
Thank you, sir, for providing this opportunity to share my experience. Sir, I had scored around 115 marks in prelims.
Okay.
So clearing prelims was not a very big deal for me, as I am from a engineering background and I'm very good in mathematics and English. So the weightage of mathematics and English combined was around 65 marks. So
Becomes
I
easy.
cleared prelims easily.
Hmm.
Yes, sir. And then the result of the prelims was out on 10th of July, and the date of the mains was in September.
Yes.
So
Very less.
I got very less time
Hmm.
for mains. I
Hmm.
believe in your material was provided by you, and test series was great help
Hmm.
because it was my first mains examination of
Honestly,
any state PCS.
fast answer
So
writing.
managing the time was very crucial,
Hmm.
and I was very sure in my mind that I want to clear this. I have to complete the whole paper.
Hmm.
Suppose if I I couldn't able to complete the paper of 40 marks, 30 marks, then it will be very difficult for me to clear for mains examination.
Hmm.
So with the help of the test series, I could able to manage the time, and I completed the whole paper in the
Hmm.
mains.
चलो, सही है. Okay. So you guys have raised some very good points as such. One that I think is completing the whole paper. I think, is that some kind of strategy that all of you have followed? Completing the whole paper. कुछ भी कर लो, not to leave. Anybody can speak. Just
Yes,
open.
yes, sir. So when the exam started, I glanced through the whole paper at once. What
Uh-huh.
I had to do, how much time I have to allocate to the sections, and which questions I could attempt easily, and which questions will take a bit more thinking to attempt.
Okay.
And
How much time did you spend on that? Let's say
sir,
5 minutes.
in initial 10-15 minutes I spent on that because that made my exam very easy
So
relative to if I had not done
10,
that.
minutes, 10, 15 minutes, that is outside the writing time, outside the examination time, or after the
Sir,
examination started.
sir, right when the examination started,
Okay.
like I'll give you an example of the English paper.
Uh-huh.
So when I started reading the questions, I
Mhm.
had to attempt the grammar questions,
Okay.
and I had to attempt the alternate alternate English questions,
Alternately. Yes.
alternative English questions. So, sir, at that point, I was already when I was reading the paper, it was
Hmm.
not just reading. I was already structuring answers in my mind, and at the
Uh,
back of the answer sheet, I was writing my rough notes. Ki
uh,
what do I do to make that answer shine?
That's
So
very good.
yes, sir. So like in the grammar section, I was
Hmm.
already when I came to that specific answer to write
Hmm.
to the specific answer. If I
Hmm.
knew it, I knew it. I
Hmm.
just wrote it down without thinking a second.
Hmm.
If I did not know it, I just thought about it one more second. I just wrote it down because at that point when I was writing the answer, I already knew what I was going to write. It did not take much time. Like the information was freely flowing from my brain to my pen
So for
because I
quick questions, you had written down some pointers behind the
yes
question.
sir, yes sir.
That's a good start.
Behind the yes sir. So because I already knew ki when I'll be attempting the questions, I won't have enough time to structure the answers,
Definitely.
and it will take me a lot of time if I did that individually for every question. Especially helped me in general studies papers
Hmm.
because it had to be the first few minutes I had to decide which questions I was going to attempt and how I was going to attempt them. So in the first few attempts, I clearly ticked the questions which I was going to attempt in a very quick manner, and I already knew that I had the information in my mind to attempt those questions. And for the structure, I quickly wrote down just barely 2 to 4 words of
Hmm.
what I was going to write. And when I came to that answer, I knew that first I had to write this, then I had to write this, then I had to write this and this.
That's very
Especially said like that question in it was about the developments made by Maharaja of Tripura.
mm-hmm.
Be it any question, be it any king. So,
Mm-hmm.
sir, I had in mind that I had to see administrative measures, I had to see executive measures, financial measures, and socio-political measures.
Hmm.
Like, so I just wrote, I knew in my mind what is administrative measure. I just wrote one word about administrative measure,
Hmm.
one word about finance, one word about legislative
Yes.
measures.
Hmm.
Yes, sir. Like that, I took every question, like even in Chola architecture.
Hmm.
I knew in my mind that this I had to do. So
Hmm.
I just wrote a couple of words there, and when I came to the answer, it gave me a direction to go in that answer and
Hmm.
not directionless.
Very good.
So
Very good.
that really helped me through means.
Hmm. That's a very good strategy. Okay. Anyone else? Number two, any strategy that you used?
So what I use in the exam, sir, the strategy.
Hmm.
So my strategy first of all was to complete the paper,
Okay.
and then I sorted out the question that I have to attempt.
Okay.
However, I wrote some points which I thought that I could miss it while doing the paper in on to the question paper. Then,
I,
sir,
I didn't get you. Can you repeat?
I wrote some points just
Okay.
like that, some specific points that usually we miss while we are writing the paper, and our mind is puzzled somewhat. So I
Mhm.
wrote those points onto the paper, and then I started writing the paper. I
Mhm.
took around 5 minutes, but then I started writing the paper.
Oh.
In some question, in one or two question, I got stuck. I thought about it, then I
Hmm.
again wrote. However, I believe that number one strategy is better in this sense.
Hmm.
He sorted it out in the beginning, which will
Hmm.
help more.
Hmm.
So I did this, but at the back of my mind, the final thing was that I have to complete the paper anyhow. And if I am not able to write something, I don't have any very lucid points, I'll write generic points. But I will not leave the copy blank.
But
But
one thing I think that has to be ensured key, if you are spending 5-10 minutes initially, restrict to 5-10 minutes only.
yes, sir.
Because uh, if you start reading and suddenly you spend more time thinking about the points, uh, and suddenly you cross 10 minute, 15 minute, तो फिर it can be थोड़ा सा problematic. तो फिर restrict that time. Restrict
Yes, sir.
that time if it's a simple enough question. If it's a simple enough question, there's no point writing, or you write the points in a very fast manner. And for those crucial points, for those crucial critical questions, you can write the pointers as such. But don't spend too much time there, because
Yes, sir.
at the
Yes, sir. Sir, what I believe is ki one should already allocate when you're stepping into that examination hall. One should know how much time he or she is going to allocate to a particular section in the question paper.
yes.
So I had already done that. I was specific in my mind
Hmm.
that I was going to allot this amount of time to this amount of portion. And the watch was on my wrist, and I was writing an answer, I was checking my time, I was writing an answer, I was checking my time. So at that point, I knew I gained confidence that I was running on time and that I will not run out of time. And that since I was confident, so I was relaxed. And if I missed the timer, suppose I had allocated 6 minutes for a question, and I wrote it in 7 minutes. So I made it a point. I will not carry that 7 minutes to the next question.
Yes,
I will somehow evenly distribute the extra time to all the other questions.
It's a
So that, yes, sir. So that really helped me, because at the end of the day, when my question was, my ultimate goal was to complete the paper somehow, as you instructed us to do. And sir, for that, I knew that in the last hour I had to do this much portion. And even if I had to cut the point short, because being honest, it was very hard to write everything in detail there, because the
Yes.
time was very less and we were already fatigued by the end of the paper, especially in the second session. So my point was, even if I am writing, suppose 5 words in a line, I had to write my answer very briefly and in points, so that it is clear for the examination that yes, this person has written this, and yes, this makes sense, and I can give marks to this. So if I was going to get half marks more, if I would have written 3-4 lines, I was just losing merely half marks.
Yes, yes. The cost benefit.
Yes, sir, exactly. Because ultimate goal was to complete the paper. Honestly, sir, in the first paper, I was very relaxed. The time was enough. But as I started the first general studies paper, I realized that to attempt, especially in the second section of the paper, it was very hard, because one has already put too much time into the first paper, the first section of the paper. So
MCQ
that,
section you're talking about.
yes, sir, yes. Then I made adjustments to subsequent general studies paper, so that I do not make that mistake again.
That I think maybe if I had taken some more mock test, फिर वो सही रहता.
Sir, actually, it was nervousness, because it was my first time writing a mains exam, and you had already provided us with enough resources and enough experience to write an exam. But sir, ultimately we are just humans. I was just sitting there, and everyone started writing, albeit they must have not written anything at all. But it made me nervous. So once I got over that nervousness, confidence kicked in, and then I went through other papers easily.
सही है. Number 3, anything to add here? Any other strategy that you follow?
Yes, I want to add, sir, one point. Sir, I attempted the questions which answer I know better in initial
So
hour.
initially,
Because
the question that
initially
you
the
give.
mind remains fresh. So I tried to answer the question which I know better initially. And I answered the question which was I was not very sure in last page of the.
Okay. Yes.
Because I wanted that the answer which I'm writing, the answer which I know better, I should write in a better way.
So the point
That will
is,
fetch good marks to me.
The point is ki you can write means one question. It's not necessarily ki you have to write it in a chronological manner. Just something that has to be ensured ki regarding the MCQ part of GS paper, you just give question number 1, then A, B, C, and if C you are not able to answer, तो फिर उसको blank रख दो. You can again come back and write. But after that, for the questions that you have to write the answer in, you can write in any order that you want. 5 से लिख सकते हो, उसके बाद 3 लिख रहे हो, उसके बाद 1 लिख रहे हो, there is no issue. तो फिर what you are saying कि हाँ, yes, when your mind is fresh and you know the answer, then you can write it properly. But I think what you have to do is you have to always stick to the time limit. Sometimes it happens for many of students कि they know about let's say about a topic and that favorite topic has come. वो वाला question ही आ गया जिसके बारे में वो सब कुछ पता है, and he starts writing about it like anything. 2 पेज 3 पेज लिख लिया. Then it just doesn't make any sense. If it's a 5-mark question, you will get max to max 5 marks only. It's not something like कि if you write more, you will get more marks. तो वो mistake नहीं करना है यहाँ पे. And I think you have not done that mistake as such.
Sir, one more thing which I kept in mind was that the objective part of the question papers,
Hmm.
that were direct marks. Like there was no subjectivity to it. If I knew it, I knew it, and they were straightforward converted into my final marks.
Huh.
So
Especially
my
in GS,
focus,
especially in
yes, sir.
GS, especially in
Yes, yes.
if you do not know about a specific current affairs का topic कि इस चीज मतलब what is the name of the specific place and you don't know, you have never heard about it, तो फिर उसके ऊपर दिमाग खर्च करके भी there is no point.
Yes, sir. It was clear in my mind that if I do not know it, and then there are chances most of the other people will not know it because I had been studying equally hard as them. And then it was a matter of chance that this question has come in this paper. So by chance, some people would know it, and but most of them would not know it
Yes,
because
yes, exactly.
I had covered fair share of it. So my goal was to score pretty well in those objective questions because they were like, even if we are considering 20 marks multiple choice questions,
And
so
that's like a fraction. It will take you two
yes,
seconds only to know whether
yes,
you
yes,
know it or
exactly.
you don't know it.
And that would also convert directly into, if suppose 20 marks I am getting 15 marks, that directly converts into 3 5 markers.
Yes, yes,
So
yes,
that saved my time, and that also increased the marks, I guess.
yes.
And sir, for the question for which you don't know the exact answer, you should write the relevant points. It is better to attempt the question instead of
So
leaving it. So
what
I tried to
number
answer
one
all
is
the question, even
what
if I
number one
don't
is
like
talking
the answer.
about is MCQ. He is talking about the MCQ things,
So, sir, for no, sir, I was talking.
about the answers, written answer writing wala part.
Yes, yes, sir.
Can you repeat?
For example, in the economy part,
Hmm.
there are many questions for which I don't know the exact answer, but still I tried to write few relevant points.
Yes, yes,
Sir,
exactly.
one more advice would be, some topics in the syllabus are pretty short, and they have clear-cut boundaries like TTADC, structure and composition, functions and role,
Hmm.
in section C of I think GS3.
Hmm.
So political and administrative system of Tripura. In
Hmm.
that, TTADC is pretty short, and it has well-defined boundaries and
Hmm.
local self-government in Tripura. And
Hmm.
there were direct questions in the question paper from these topics.
Hmm.
So my goal while studying was to do these topics first, so
Hmm.
that I knew that I had scored these, that I have covered these marks. And
You know the
topics
question
like,
will come from these topics, and you know
yes, sir.
the boundary to how much
Yes, sir. So we can write easily. But in topics like GS4, sir, there are section E, agriculture, forestry, and plantation.
is very
This
vast.
time the paper, yes, sir, very vast. And this time paper was also very different from what it used to be, especially from the previous paper, which was very easy in comparison to this.
Hmm.
So if someone would have put too much time in learning those things, which
Hmm.
ultimately did not come here, so
Hmm.
that would be a loss of time, and that would also result like scat form. Yeah, scat form question was there in exam.
Hmm.
So if someone would have read all the theory of agriculture in Tripura and forestry and plantation in agriculture in Tripura,
Hmm.
they would have stumbled upon that question.
Hmm.
But if someone would have thought about it, what is forestry and plantation in Tripura, and linked it with something like current affairs, which is in economic survey,
Hmm.
which is scat form,
Hmm.
even for writing a couple of lines in the answer, in any answer, then he would have been able to write at least a few points in that question, and he would have gotten decent marks.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
linking the current part now, especially with the static part.
Yes. So basically, two things that comes out. One is key not to leave any question unanswered, even if you do not know about it. Since you have studied all the topics, you can write few lines, obviously. So even instead of getting a 0 in that question, at least you will be getting 1 mark, 2 mark, and that 1 mark or 2 mark may be that deciding number as such. And second would be your linking to current affairs. Linking to current affairs just makes it more beautiful, more relevant, and this time since they changed the question pattern as such, they are trying to go towards UPSC pattern, as I feel like the more analytical questions. So I feel like it's going in the right direction. कि
Sir,
if you
one more thing I did was when suppose the question was on Green Revolution,
हाँ,
that why Green Revolution led to inequality
हम्म,
among the states. So, sir, what how I introduced the answer was like at that time I knew that Mr. M.S. Swaminathan had passed away. So, sir, I started the answer with that recently M.S. Swaminathan, the father of Green Revolution, has passed away in India, and this brings us to the question that whether Green Revolution led to inequality in the states. So in many of my answers, I started like that by linking it with some current event or something which was very which can be very static, but then also if you can think about it, it is very current as well. So many answers and examples I wrote like that.
चाहिए. Good strategy. And to do all these things, you have to be updated with current affairs as such. So, question to both of you. Third number पता नहीं कहाँ चला गया. Maybe network issues happening. But question to both of you is, where did you guys prepare current affairs from? Not Tripura current affairs. उस पे बाद में आएंगे. That's a normal generic Indian current affairs. Where did you guys prepare from? For mains.
Sir, in Indian current affairs, I had this clear understanding that one is the current affair which is usually asked in public service examinations, which are quite different in nature than the ones which are asked in PSUs and bank examinations. So, sir, for those bank examination kind of current affairs, I refer to GK today because in those
Yes.
current affairs there are these specific examples which we can directly incorporate into our answers. But for Indian current affairs, sir, I majorly refer to Forum IS's current affairs, and some current affairs were also provided you by linking them with the syllabus which we already had. So that really helped me. I just combined both of these sources, and then I could integrate these current affairs into my answers.
For prelims, did you follow the same for current affairs during the prelims?
Sir, for prelims, I analyzed that generally in Tripura, the kind of current affairs that are asked are mostly direct and factual. Nothing which is multiple statements like they ask in UPSC. So, sir, for that, I referred to GK Today magazine because they have direct question and answer MCQ format PDFs, and I just referred to that because either you know it or you don't know it. Sir, that is also true for the GS1 paper.
Yes.
Their current affairs was major part, and I could not go through the entire Forum IS's current affairs. So I just referred to GK Today for a few months, and it was too comprehensive and the time was too short, so I could only focus on that.
Number two, regarding your
Yes, sir.
current affairs.
For the prelims part, I relied on some YouTube videos of Adda 247 Northeast.
Okay.
And some local channels that are usually teaching regarding Tripura, GK and current. One of them is Study 247. That is also a very good channel.
Okay.
I relied on that one. It also teaches very good Tripura specific videos. So I relied on that. And apart from that, Adda 247 Northeast, plus some other resources like Study for Civil Services I use for films. But I was more focused on GS part in films compared to current, which is generally not known how much it will come. So secondly, in mains, I was also I was more focused about the GS part. And for the current affairs, I watched videos from Study IQ.
Okay.
And tried to be updated regarding what is going on around me. And so the main focus was to have a stronger GS part because that is what matters. I thoroughly prepared budgets for Tripura. However, I made a mistake of not going through the economic review, which I would suggest all people to
Economic
go
survey.
through. Pardon, sir?
Economic survey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Economic survey of Tripura, not Union Tripura. Tripura economic survey is very important. Everyone should go through it because questions were directly asked from that.
Okay.
And yes, sir.
अच्छा, एक सेकंड, इकोनॉमिक सर्वे. One more question then. How did you do the revision as such of current affairs? Since you have done it mostly from videos and number one has done it from magazines or PDFs. So what was the revision strategy for both of you?
Sir, in my, which were directly factual current affairs,
Hmm.
they were already in MCQ format.
Hmm.
So I randomly, whenever I had time, I would randomly go to those PDFs and not in a serial wise number, just randomly I would pick any question and I would try to answer it.
Okay.
So I did this month wise.
Hmm.
I would take 1 month at one time, and if I struggled in a specific month,
Hmm.
I would revise that again. And if I did not struggle or barely missed a couple of questions, I would just revise them. And that was my preparation for current affairs. Because, sir, current affairs, you cannot invest enough in current affairs.
Hmm.
Then it takes your time away from GS, especially for me, because I think revising GS is much more beneficial and much more fruitful than revising current affairs. So,
Yes.
sir, I focus more revision on GS rather than current affairs.
Okay. And you, number two?
So what I did, I studied the current affair at the end so that it doesn't miss my mind. Because a current affair is something that we study and we forget very soon. So I had a strategy to read the current affair in the end, but it should not be very end. Matlab, the examination shouldn't be at just a week after that, after you start preparing for that. You should have around 10 to 15 days at minimum. So I did in those last moments. So that helped me a lot.
Okay. ठीक है. I think you guys have given very good suggestion too. Any other suggestion that you want to give to budding aspirants? अभी journey
So,
करना चाहते हैं. How much time does it take to complete the syllabus as such?
the main syllabus is quite tedious. It is not easy to complete it in a very quick manner. You need to give minimum dedicated 4 to 5 months in order to go through the syllabus in a lucid manner.
Okay.
Apart from that, prelims is very predictable. If you go through the previous year questions of all the exams that TPSC has conducted, then your half of the preparation of your is done. Because many questions are repeated from previous year questions. And if you go through those PYQs, you will know actually that what kind of questions TPSC will ask. And you will also know the dimension, the question where it will rotate around. So what I would suggest is that you go through the PYQs. Now the problem that arises while you going through PYQs is that the books that are available online are generally of 2014 and all, and the notes that are available online would not provide you those MCQs. So this problem has a solution. However, the student those are going for this exam will have to do something by themselves. Is that they should go to the TPSC site and download all the PYQ questions. They are available there, and also download the final answer key with it regarding that exam, and then go through all those PYQs. It will help them a lot because
Exactly.
there is no other way to go through the PYQs. I have tried a lot, but there aren't any books. One book is very common that is available, but it has the last updated PYQ of 2014, which is around 10 years back.
जो भी
Yes,
करना
sir.
है, उससे थोड़ा बहुत करना है. Okay. Any other suggestion?
Sir, I also did the same as number two. I downloaded all the question papers
Okay.
and matched them with the answer keys. And one more thing I did was I sorted them out with the topic. Like I tagged them geography, history, modern. And sir, with that I got an idea how the questions were going to be. And with that I integrated my studies with the UPSC study by, if suppose modern history there were specific kind of questions that were asked. So I went to my notes which I had made primarily for UPSC, and then I tagged them that okay, this was asked and this could be asked. So I myself devised a few questions which could be asked, which were of the similar nature. So that helped me a lot. And one more thing I had to keep in mind was when we were going through previous year questions on TPSC's site, there are also exams which are of Group C and Group D. Group C primarily, not Group D. So in those question papers, the kind of GK which is asked is very different. So one would think that they should also cover that kind of GK. But I would advise strongly against it, because that is the kind of GK TPSC does not ask, at least currently in grade A jobs. So one should primarily focus on papers like forest services.
Or TFS exam, yes.
Yes. So one should go through all the previous year questions of as many as papers available on the TPSC site, because it's a free resource and no one will have to pay for any book. And then if you really want to spend some money on it, you can just get it printed and tag yourself of what kind of questions are going to come, and sort them out in different topics. So that really helped me a lot. And sir, another suggestion is that continuously one should not stay on a single, at least that what is for me. Because if you stay on a single subject, we feel like we have not done it, and then we'll keep on revising it and we'll keep on doing the same subject. And that really makes us nervous in the last moments when we'll see that we have not covered the other subjects enough. So one should focus on at least two subjects at once. And once they have done it, they should not give the test series on the same day or the next day. At least give a 2-3 day break, so that mind can actually tell you that what it knows and what it doesn't.
How
If
much
you
you
do it
can
on the same,
remember.
yes sir. If you do it on the same day, you are already you just did it. You are obviously going to remember it.
सही है. Shows कि both of you have done a lot of research, have very good strategies in place, and I wish both of you to clear the interview round. And the kind of dedication that you guys have shown, I think हो जाना चाहिए. Let's hope for the best. And the kind of suggestion that you have given, I think it will help many students as such. Chalo, thank you guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We
Thank you,
hope
sir.
for your
Thank you, sir.
guidance for the interview as well, because you have helped.
Yes, absolutely,
Sir.
absolutely.
Yes, sir. We are
Yes, sir.
eagerly waiting for your guidance for the interview, sir. Because we are totally
Absolutely.
dependent upon your guidance and experience, sir. Because we are still new in this field, sir.
Yes, sir.
And
At
you are the
least, sir,
master
I
of
would
us,
have taken at least 2 to 3 to 4 months extra if you were not there to help us. That
Yes,
is
sir, definitely, sir.
that is what my belief is.
Yes, sir, I too.
That's my work to guide you. That's it. Rest, you guys have done the major chunk of the work. मेरा तो थोड़ा इधर उधर, I just showed you the way. But the teacher is as good as the student is. So you guys are good. That's why you cleared easily. And also the kind of things that you have spoken shows how much dedication that you guys have shown actually. Chalo, and regarding interview, obviously I'll help. You guys have my phone number, so फिर we'll discuss more on this, and बात करते हैं बाद में. चलो, ठीक है?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
चलो.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.